There we are. Okay, now I can
Okay.
share us out. All right, share to a page. I gotta share to my page. Oh, that's the only worst thing about this is you share it out and then doesn't give you time to share out.
No, it
Uh,
doesn't.
and if I try to do the little thing, it doesn't ever work out good. But that's okay. We'll get there. Um, share, share, share. I'm sharing to people in my news feed. All right. Oh, we got 5 people. Hi, everyone. It's that time of night. Um, so tonight we have Adam Ramos from the Midnight Paranormal Society. Um, and this is the mystical connections to the unknown. And we're going to talk about cryptids. He's going to touch base on Mothman. He's going to teach me a few things because I tried to look up Mothman and I think I hit the same 5 subjects on different sites. So, so you teach me a little bit about Mothman. If y'all want to share out, I'd appreciate it. Hi, Peggy. How are you? Share out, get some viewers in here. I would appreciate it. And why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself there, Mr. Adam?
Well, um, I'm from Texas, where it's hot all
Where
year
it's
long.
nice and warm right now.
Yes, it
I'm a
is.
little jealous. Hi, Sherry.
um, I've been into the paranormal since I was about 12,
Okay.
and a few years later, I got into stuff about aliens, and sometime later, I got into stuff about Bigfoot and Mothman and other monsters and things of that sort. And also just like mysteries, like little mysteries in between, life
Mm-hmm.
mysteries, uh, ocean mysteries, space mysteries. Just all sorts of mysteries in between, that interest me, that pique my interest. That I have
Right.
to like try to find out what they are, just because I have that in me too when I know what they are about.
Right.
So, but um, I am part of a team called a Midnight Paranormal Society down here in San Antonio, and
That's where I was.
we. Mhm.
I said that's where I was, San Antonio, Texas.
Oh yeah,
The
nice.
the army base. Hi,
We
Valerie.
got we got plenty of those down here, so a lot. So yeah, uh, been into this stuff for a long, long time, like I said, and it's been a big interest of mine for a long time.
Well, what got you interested at 12 years old?
Long story short, I was laying in bed,
Well, we have a
and
whole hour, so you can go long story.
oh, okay. Well, I
I'm just kidding.
was laying in bed on my stomach, looking up at the TV,
Uh huh.
and had my hands up like that, laying on my stomach, I had my feet up, and I was on the bed. And towards the other end of the bed, it felt like somebody sat down. So I look behind me, and nothing is there. Nobody's there. I don't see nobody. And like ever since then, I've been into ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. That's what got me into this stuff. All because of that. That happened to me when I was about 12.
Did you ever question it and like ask any of the adults in the house if they've ever?
No,
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 you didn't.
I,
You
I
didn't
didn't.
tell anybody.
No, not for a long time. Not because I didn't want people to think I was crazy or nobody believed me. I just didn't like think about it to like say, hey, I wonder what the heck was that for a long while. At least to myself, I started
Right.
asking myself what the heck was that, but not to so much like other people.
Right.
And I mean, I was a kid. I was just interested in watching whatever the heck I was watching on TV. I forgot what it was. It might have been cartoons, but I just turned back around and finished watching whatever it is I was watching on TV. You're a kid. TV is your life, so of
Right.
course
Right.
I'm gonna go back to watching TV. So
That's cool. What are some of the things that you after you felt that and stuff, did you start indulging in spirits after that, like asking friends, like talking to friends about it, going on ghost adventures? How did you start going places?
Like investigating.
Did you start younger or did you wait till you were older?
I waited till I was older. I wish I'd
Yeah.
started younger, and it's only been like the last like 5 6 years that I've really like started going investigating and going with a group here and there. But for the group I'm with now, I've been with them for like the last like officially like 2 years. But I've
Mhm.
known the founder Mike for like the last like 5 years, and he would invite me, or I would ask to go with him on an investigation. And then
Right.
like about 2 years ago, he officially like threw me in there with the group.
Gotcha.
But before that, I was just here and there. I'll talk to this person or that person and tell them, hey, I believe in that stuff, things that go up in the night or
Right.
things people see that's not really there, and of course, there are those people that that stuff's not real, right? People are just hallucinating, right? Or things like that. Of course, there's
Right.
going to be people like that try to cut you down and oh, he was just half asleep, or oh, she was just drinking, or stuff like that.
Right. Right. Now, what got you into because we're gonna touch base on Mothman, but what got you into liking cryptids?
The same thing, the same like interest and needing to find out like what they are, like what it is. The same thing as spirits and ghosts and haunted places, like trying to like learn what it is and find out what it is, and because with it being a mystery, it's like I have that in me to want to like find out what it is, and it's like I mean, yeah, there are those reports, when it comes to like Bigfoot or even Mothman stuff like that. It's like people, oh, uh, they saw a bear or they saw a moose pass by, or it was just a shadow or something like that. But
Right.
not all those things can be a mistaken identity of an animal or something. Something has to be out there that people are seeing that they can't explain, that they can't understand what it is.
Right. Johnny, I think people still chuckle when you talk about the paranormal. I know I have people are like, huh, what? I don't believe in that. And then they laugh it off. So yes, people still do it. Um, well,
Unfortunately, yes.
well, okay, John. That I think some people aren't fascinated because they're not believers. I mean, I we're going to talk about Mothman. And like I said, I tried looking up stuff this week and I've hit like several different sites and it was the same story over and over and over again of the same two people who started in November 15th of 1966. And it went to December 15th, which is my birthday actually, of 1967 in, was it Pleasant? What was it called? It was somewhere in West Virginia.
Point Pleasant,
Yes,
West Virginia.
Yes, there you go. Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and that's where it all began with the
Hmm.
Mothman. So I was like, okay, it's the two people, and So tell me a little bit about what got you excited about Mothman, because I mean I've heard of him, but I don't know too much about Mothman.
Right. I mean, even streaming, steaming from the name itself, Mothman. It's like a moth that's a man that's a moth. Like, what is that? And then going into the reports of people seeing it, a man, with giant wings and big old giant red eyes, sometimes yellow eyes that fly up in the air or flies alongside their cars, or
Right,
it's like what the heck is that? Like to be able to like witness what they witnessed, but at the same time to think about like what the heck can it be? Is it from another dimension? Is it a mutated owl? Is it an alien? All sorts of things like it can be,
right,
you know. And it's interesting to think about also like thinking about it, that might have been one of it. The only one of its kind.
Right.
It might have lived, and something might have happened to it to where it died.
Right.
Unless there's more of its kind somewhere, and that this one just got loose from where it's from and went on to the public.
Well, I know. One of the things that I read was that they were saying that it could have been a sandhill crane.
Hmm.
If it was big enough, because they have the red around the eyes. They're tall enough. Their wingspan goes about 10. Way out there. Um, so, what would make it different from a sandhill crane? I mean, and Johnny, I see your thing about the locals believe. I saw that too. They actually have a Mothman festival and everything every year, which I
Hmm.
think started in 2012 or something like that. So it's pretty cool. But what would make it different than a sandhill crane?
I mean, I'm sure like one of those cranes is well known to be in that area, and I'm sure like many hundreds of people saw one of those cranes way before Mothman was reported. I'm sure 90% or 99% of those people know what the crane looks like. I'm sure one day people are just gonna be like, "Oh, we just forgot what the crane looks like. We're seeing this thing now. We don't know what it is." I'm sure they know what a crane looks like. What it looks like when the
Mm-hmm.
wings come out or when it flies away.
Expand, right?
And like I said, I'm sure there's been times where people did mistake the crane or an owl or something for something else for the Mothman. You know,
And clearly, it probably only comes out at nighttime, correct?
right? That's the reports I've heard.
So they could essentially, like, I mean, not actually. I mean, we don't always see clearly in the dark, so I mean, they could mistake it for a sandhill crane. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm trying to like. I'm just. Not.
Right.
I'm not a total believer of like. I believe in cryptid. Like it could happen, but then where's the proof that it actually happened? That's. I guess I'm one of those people that just need proof. you know,
Exactly. Exactly.
like I need that
And
hardcore proof, like Bigfoot. I just don't believe in Bigfoot. I really don't. Everyone thinks I'm nuts, but I don't. I don't
it
believe in Bigfoot, but
right.
so this Mothman crane, and I've seen the pictures. It looks like a man with some wings, you know.
Hmm.
So it's just I don't know, make me a
And
believer, Adam.
right. And there's just so many reports of people seeing this thing that it can't be everybody's crazy or everybody's drinking bad water or everybody's hallucinating. People are seeing something that they describe the same thing.
Okay,
Figure that looks like a man with wings.
but do you think people could jump on a bandwagon? Like and say, I saw this and they hear the one story and say, oh yeah, I saw that too, and it happened like this, and kind of manipulate the story a little bit just to make it a slightly different, just to like have their name recognized.
That could be it. I'm sure there's been a few times where that has happened with Mothman or Bigfoot or aliens or Santa Claus.
Right.
But it's like at the same time, I feel like they're doing it because they don't know the outcome of what's going to happen to them. And so much like there are people, just like with aliens and Bigfoot, that come out and say, "Oh, you saw that stuff? You're crazy, or you don't know what you saw.
Right.
Or stuff like that." So
Hi Rosie, hi Chrissy. Yeah, and they could be dinosaurs. Who knows? We don't. I mean, I know dinosaurs don't exist anymore, but they have been proven to be real because they found dinosaur. You know, I don't know. I mean, what if dinosaurs truly didn't like just going off a whim here? What if they truly didn't like you know go extinct and they're still like a little bit coming back? Who knows? We don't know.
could be.
Pterodactyl. That would be cool if it was a pterodactyl. That would be really cool.
Because like I've always felt like this is just my theory. I've always felt like maybe it was some kind of owl or something that got mutated because they were always talking about how that place was a storage place for ammunition and TNT and who knows
Hmm.
what else they
Yeah.
had buried there,
Right.
radioactive material, and it mutated an owl,
Right.
mutated a bird,
Right.
mutated something, and people are seeing the result end of that mutation.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. That stuff does happen. Mutations do happen. I do believe that. Um, I mean, I don't know if an owl would get as big as what they're claiming it to be. I don't know. I just it's hard to believe sometimes. But like, what were the characteristics of the Mothman? I know he's got the large wingspan, looks like a man, red eyes. But was there any other specific characteristics that you? I've seen the statue, but
Well, I mean, there's most of the time it's like everything, but you said, but except like they talk about how like the head looks like it just sits directly on the neck, on the shoulders, no neck, almost like a bird,
okay,
just stuck on
right,
the head. And there's reports of people saying it's its wings, and then people report saying it has wings and a set of arms, and that people say that instead of like flying, flapping its wings, that it glides across the air instead of flying, and that some people said that they've been driving away from it going 80 100 miles an hour, and that it keeps up with them going that quick alongside their car, and also that there's been reports of it like giving off a very loud screech when it's flying or in the vicinity of
right,
people, like they can hear it giving off like a loud screech.
like a banshee, like that kind of
Yeah,
screeching, or I mean, the way you described him, you described what the devil looks like. So how do we know they didn't just see the devil? Yeah, I mean,
it. I mean, it could have
seriously,
been. I mean, it could have been. It could have been a shapeshifter or something. So, but
shapeshifters are cool. That's what I'm saying. I mean, the reports say that it matches like a sandhill crane, Rosie, but it couldn't be. I mean, it very well could be something. I mean, but it only lasted what 11 years, and nobody's seen really seen it ever since 1967.
something like that. I mean,
I
I
was
think there's
born
been
10
like
years
one or
later.
two. So I mean, that's. I mean, I heard that there was like a report of it, like in Russia or like in a few other places, right before something bad happened. Like it was almost like uh, something to tell you about something bad's gonna happen, like doom or something.
Right. I think a lot of
So
don't they say that a lot about a lot of cryptids, where if you see a cryptid, there's something bad's going to happen? I've heard that
I
a few
think
times.
some of them, yeah.
I've heard
There's
that
been
a
some
few
of
times.
them. Hmm.
Um, so Johnny said there could be portals, and maybe they're just coming through the portals. That's why we don't see them all the time.
Could be. So that I mean that's a good theory, and that explains why we only see one that we know of. It's that it's only one. Maybe it found a way to come through from its world to
So
this
like
planet, and
dimensional.
hmm
Is that how
because I
alien? Because
mean,
I know you're a UFO guy too.
yeah.
So do you
So
think it could be a animal from a creature from another planet just visiting here, or trying to like aliens would, or
it
what?
could be. It could be. I mean, I wouldn't dismiss that it would be something like that. Because the way I see it is, if it was natural to this planet, we would see it more often, especially with something that flies in the air.
Right.
Like I would understand like if it was somebody, like if it was creature that lives deep under the sea. We wouldn't know about it because we're here
Like
on
a
the land.
mermaids. Like mermaids.
Exactly, you know.
Ugh.
So I would think that it's something not natural to this world.
They actually talked about mermaids this morning on the radio over here. There was a mermaid that was what is it was found on the land, well, on the beach, like it was mummified, and
Hmm.
then off of the coast of Japan. And then now they have a live mermaid at SeaWorld in Japan. That's what they said.
What? Wow.
I was like, oh, okay, a live mermaid. But okay, let's go there. I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh, okay, I want to hear this because I like mermaids, but I know like they're not all Disney princess mermaids. Apparently, if you look at back the folklore of mermaids, it was they were not very nice creatures. Not they're very ugly and not as beautiful as Disney made them out to be.
So pretty much Disney lied to us, huh?
Well, I like Disney, so I'm not going to go there. But Little Mermaid was one of my favorites. um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure about the eye color either, Rosie. I mean, yeah, I wonder that too. Is like, do we get some animals and stuff that come from, shipments like like accidentally come over on the ships and we don't know about it, like spiders and stuff. Couldn't larger animals like get trapped in a crate and stuff? Who knows? What is as stunning as Disney princess? I know, right? Hi, Don.
But I sometimes feel like with the world today, with the technology we have today, like social media crossing international borders and stuff like that, like somebody would have said, "Hey, that reminds me of what we have here." You know?
True. But I also think with social media and all the technology and the way people can manipulate things, there's a lot of manipulation that happens too, and people just make up stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. Like I saw a video of the Mothman flying in the air, and it really looked like the statues off of Waverly Hills, but flying.
Hmm.
So, Ace wants to know if there's any certain areas or places that have more frequent sightings. The only one I found was that Pleasant or Point Pleasant in West Virginia. Have there been any other places in the United States that seen Mothman?
Um, there's been one or two other places I can't think of their names offhand. That it was like a report here, a report two or here or there, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing like Point Pleasant, to where it's like it was seen for all that time. Because I think I even saw or read somewhere that there was a report of it in Russia, like right before Chernobyl, I think it was,
Mm-hmm.
that people saw it flying around, and a few days later, Chernobyl did what it did, and so. But other
I
than
mean,
that,
you talk about red eyes. My kids saw red eyes in their bedrooms when they were younger. So in the middle of the night, I don't know what red eyes means. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's bad, it's bad." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna believe that." But shoot, maybe the Mothman was in their bedrooms. I don't know.
it might have been a baby Mothman.
Oh yeah, right.
So,
I'm
but
just
like
saying.
but like I said, like there's never been reports of like a small Mothman. It's always been the same,
Really,
same height and
right.
width of it flying around or being caught
So is it
watching
tall?
people.
Is it taller? Like reported to be taller than a average human being?
Different people reported being 6 foot. Some people said it being 8 foot tall, and these are people just from saying like it was standing against this tree or standing alongside this house, and the house is so much in feet and so much in height.
Right.
But But like I said, it's I've never heard of like someone saying, "Oh, it was like 2 feet tall and the wings were only about so big," and
Right.
it's always been, I guess, would you consider an adult
Right.
Mothman creature, whatever it is.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, and it didn't say anything about like I mean one a couple of the pictures I saw it kind of looked like Bigfoot with wings because it looked
Hmm.
hairy, and then other ones it didn't they didn't look hairy. So how do we know it wasn't Bigfoot with wings? I mean,
I mean,
nobody's ever caught Bigfoot yet, so we don't know if Bigfoot really has wings or not.
well,
I'm gonna throw all kinds
there's
of things out at you today, Adam.
that's fine. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Because there's that thing known as a bat squash, like Sasquatch and a big giant bat, you
Right.
know. But then like I heard this story like years ago, and it was a story about how I believe it was for during it might have been Mount St. Helens when it exploded, or when a volcano exploded, and they
Mhm.
were talking about how they were in the area, and that the soldiers saw like these scientists outside showing up in a truck, and with them was a Bigfoot walking with them, like if humans and Bigfoot were working together one in one, even going inside the building and to do stuff, whatever they were doing. And they were saying like the Bigfoot didn't look chained up or drugged or anything like that, like walking on its own with the military, with the scientists, people going inside the building, like to
Mhm.
work with them. So it's like, and to me, that's just like more how the government lies and doesn't tell us things, and
I do
same thing
believe
with the
that.
aliens. So yeah,
Well,
same thing
yeah,
with
and they
aliens.
right, and they just released all the reports about that, um, about UFOs and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
I do believe that
Bigfoot
was
is
just
a
like,
federal official. Okay.
mhm. But I do believe all that stuff they released just like a tiny, 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 tiny tip of the iceberg of what they have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cryptids are new to. I mean, they're not like super new to me. I mean, I've obviously heard you know the names, but to actually know about them and learn about them, the only one I really was Bigfoot. Growing up, um, trolls, which
Hmm.
come to find out, look, a Pukwudgie looks like a troll to me. So I've seen those pictures. Um, let's see, mermaids. So I mean, I know there's stories, there are folklores out there, but are they truly real? That's what I just want to know. Are they truly real?
And that's what I want to know, but on a far bigger scale with everything, all the stuff that happens, life
But
mysteries, Earth mysteries.
the what? Enfield? Mothman.
What what is that one, Johnny?
I don't know. What's
So.
a Enfield? Is that horror? Oh, I have to look that up. Okay.
Hmm.
Um weird, but yeah, I mean all this is new and this is but it's like how come anyone hasn't really captured any of these cryptids yet? There's stories of being captured, but you never really see one actually captured. I've seen the videos on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok of the mermaids, on the island, and it's like, and everyone's camera's like this all the time. It's never a still footage. It's always moving like this, and it's like hold your hand still so we can actually dissect what you're videotaping because when you're moving constantly like this with your camera, it's like yeah, no, if I can't even you can't have a clear picture.
Right. I mean,
Okay, the three-legged beast sighting in southern Illinois, 1973. Okay.
Mud monster. Wow, I've never heard of that one before.
I'm going to stay quiet on that one for a moment.
I will look that one up, Johnny, for sure. The mud monster.
The mud monster. Yeah, but wasn't there a cryptid? Oh, Ace would know this one. It's his favorite character, and I don't remember the name of it. You'll have to type it in there. From the native land. Was it there was a swamp man or something like that? That's another one.
Swamp man, the grass man.
Yeah, swamp man.
I mean, yeah,
I mean,
but
that could
that's
be just an alligator standing on two legs. I don't know. Yeah, Nick Moulet is going to be on the show in a couple of weeks, so he will be on talking more about cryptids. The next 3 weeks we have people talking about cryptids, so we'll learn a lot. Hi, Sydney.
hello.
Everybody's joining me tonight. Woohoo! Look at
I know.
that. Aren't you
That I
special?
mean,
You got everybody listening about Mothman. If you guys
I
have
know.
any questions for him, put them out there. Momo
Mhm.
Monster. Momo, wasn't there something weird, like some Japanese creator, or what am I thinking something else? Hi, Nick.
Hey Nick. Um, I've never heard of that one
Oh,
before.
creature from the Black Lagoon. There it is. I knew you would get it out.
That's that movie, right?
There is a movie, but that's like another cryptid. They make movies out of these. I'm telling you. You hear the
Yeah,
folklores and because there's a Mothman movie. I have not seen it. I don't know if I want to see it.
you should.
Yes, Nick,
It's like
the big muddy monster. Small Town Monsters did a show on it. Oh, Mothman Prophecies. So what's the Mothman Prophecies?
just like a movie version of some of the stuff that happened in Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
So you want
Hollywood
what?
version.
Oh, well,
I mean,
prophecies
because
usually means it's going to happen. Like somebody predicts it and then it's going to happen. That's what prophecies mean. So, are they saying this stuff is going to happen in the future? Like they're
because
predicting what Mothman's going to do?
not so much like what he's gonna do, because like in the movie, the one guy is told, this is gonna happen. Not so much like directly, but like one scene he gets told like something about like so many people are gonna die. He doesn't get how or when, but he gets told so many people are gonna die. And then like 2 days later, the same amount of people that he was told are gonna die died in a plane crash. Or he gets told like a couple of other things that comes true like a few days later.
So kind of like Final Destination, but with cryptids.
Final Destination.
Yeah, have you ever seen Final Destinations? There's like 5 of them. it's it's so in
Okay.
Final Destination, like their kids are driving behind a log truck, and all the logs come off because they somehow had a near death experience, and then they dodged death. So now death keeps following them around, and some of them die with the log trucks, and something else happens. It's just because they keep dodging death. It's funny. You gotta see that one. That's why you
I'll have
never drive.
to.
That's why you never drive behind a log truck.
I'll keep that in
Hi,
mind.
Courtney.
Because that sounds scary. I could only imagine having the law come at you and
It
take you
does.
out, and you're done.
There you go.
That
Right?
that would be a bad way to die.
Oh, for sure. I think a bird claps too in that movie. One of them. There's 5 of them. There's actually 5 of them. All right, Nick says, believe it or not, we recently discovered that the Mothman may have actually appeared prior to some of the biggest historic disasters that have occurred around the world. both man-made and natural. And which one? I mean, okay, Nick. Nick, you have to touch up on this when you're on the show in 3 weeks, because I think you're the last one to be like on my show for. Yep, on March 31st. So you'll have to talk about that one. Do you know about those? Like the biggest disasters and Mothman appearing? I mean, who's to say he's not the devil? I mean, I know not everybody believes in the devil, but Jesus.
I because I even heard that people think that he was a skinwalker. That it was a skinwalker, Mothman, and that's why it was able to show itself as as whatever it is, the winged creature.
Right.
But then again, change into something else after all those sightings that it was being cited as the ring creature.
I mean, do you think people want to like they want to put blame on these natural disasters because they just don't believe that nature could do it? I mean, we get thunderstorms, we get lightning, we get all that tornadoes and stuff, but that's just nature. Like
Hmm.
why are we saying Mothman, appeared before that? And has it been like how is it proven?
I mean, I don't want to say, I don't want to sound wrong, and and I don't want to say people are just superstitious.
Yeah.
Just happen to see it right before. I mean, maybe they just are. I mean, I'm trying to put this in a good way, but maybe they are just so superstitious on believing.
I used to believe in superstitions. I don't really believe in them much anymore. Not since I've been in the paranormal field. It's weird. I used to like
Hmm.
don't walk under a ladder, and if you cross paths a black cat, well, now I got adopted by a black cat. you know, so
Right, and that can just be it.
let's see what Nick says. A few primary examples: not only the Silver Bridge collapse, but also the San Francisco earthquake of 1906. Titanic sinking 1912, a massive earthquake that occurred in China, the Hindenburg disaster. Those are way long before like the actual first sighting. So how okay, Nick.
And that's the thing. Like, I've never heard of the Mothman being sighted before those events happened.
No. That's going to be interesting to find out what he has to say about Mothman now. Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, it's just like those reports also, in Point Pleasant, where it's the Mothman, and there's reports of people seeing the Mothman, and then only to be visited by the Men in Black later on that day, that night, telling them, "Hey, we don't want you telling people what you saw. Keep your mouth shut." Stuff like that.
I saw that report, Men in Black. I was like, oh, Will Smith is there? I'm just kidding.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, but you know what? But the people say that about Bigfoot too. That's why we've never actually seen a Bigfoot body because somebody captures one and the government takes it away. Like Men in Black come and you hush hush and this and that.
Right,
So,
exactly.
but I just don't understand why like these things supposedly happen and why is the government don't want us to know about it. What's the theory on that?
Them just doing what they do best, controlling everything and everybody. I mean, it's just like the
Like
same thing with
like
eight.
with the gas prices that we have going on right now. That's all control. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
exactly.
Off
No,
topic.
yeah, but I mean, it's just like with aliens. How they're able to travel through space and everything, and it's like, how would you feel if the government came out and told you, "Hey, we have no way to defeat these aliens. Their technology is way superior than ours. We're all gonna die." You know, I feel like they need to feel like they need to be on top of everything, be in control of everything.
Well, true, but I don't think aliens are here to kill us. I honestly think they're trying to teach us stuff. I think
I,
being advanced they are, they're probably looking at us like, who are these dumb?
I
Like these
believe that
people
as
are
well.
they're like looking down at us going, these people are stupid. Like, let's not go there again.
Ch-
find
children,
another find another world to go examine. I
children,
don't
all
know.
these children. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
So
Johnny, right. We're the zoo. They come and
exactly.
visit us. Look at this animal. Kids, don't look
I,
at
I
this one.
I've seen that meme of like the baby alien, the young alien talking to like I guess like the mother alien, talking about
Uh-huh.
the mother aliens telling the young alien, like you need a human for school tomorrow, and you're telling me this,
Oh
9 o'clock
yeah, I've
at
seen that
night,
one.
I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, those are funny memes. The alien ones. I do believe in aliens though. I can't imagine that world like the universe being like even beyond the universe. Space is just too big for us to just be the only, you know, creatures of the world.
Exactly. How boring would it be if it were just us?
Oh my gosh. I'm just wondering what Kyle means don't look in the bright light. I mean, you'll be blinded if you do, but there are bright lights that we want to go into. I don't know. I don't know. Too funny. Um yeah, all right. So any other cryptids you want to talk about? Because we have about 20 minutes left. Oh, Men in
Well,
Black. That's right. I forgot about that. Don't look at the black. Yep. They got their little pens. Choo. All memory erased. Maybe that's what happens on a daily. Men in Black coming. We just don't know it.
may and
Erasing our memory daily.
I've told people this, like people has like told me like a few people have told me, oh, I wish I can get abducted by aliens or get taken away, and I've told them like maybe you have, but they took away your memory, and you will never ever remember because
Mhm.
it's wiped from your memory. And there are
Right.
those people that get abducted, and then so many years later that they start having nightmares of
Mhm.
that abduction, and then they just think, oh, I'm having a bad dream, but they're remembering what happened to them.
Right. I think dreams are real. I think a lot of stuff happens in our dreams that are real. They actually say if there's a person in your dreams, and I know I'm going off topic here, but they say if there's a person in your dreams that you don't recognize, it's because we have facial recognition software in our brains pretty much, and it's somebody that you've seen somewhere down the line, even just somebody passing you in the streets or passing you at the grocery store that you're not even paying attention to, but they'll actually appear in your dreams because you've seen that person before. It's really interesting. I was like, because I dream about
Wow.
people I don't know all the time, and I was like, yeah, okay, why are you here? Go away. Don't need your
Yeah.
help. All right, what did Nick say? I saw another comment earlier mentioning Momo, which is short for the Missouri Monster. That's another Bigfoot type creature, which had a bizarre pumpkin shaped head and has been spotted in Louisiana, Missouri in the early 1970s. Okay, but Nick, what if Bigfoot just got his head stuck into a pumpkin? I mean, come on. All these, wow. I'm learning a lot from you, Nick. All these different folklore creatures coming to light. And why are they always happening in 1970s? Hmm. You hear a lot of them happening in the 1970s, 60s, and 70s. I mean, we're too many people like I'm not gonna say it. Never mind. Not even gonna say
I think I
it.
know where you're going with this, but I'm
Not
not gonna
even
say it
gonna
either. So
not gonna say it. I don't want to
yeah,
offend
I'm
anybody.
did yeah.
Oh,
So how's the weather again?
right. I'm not gonna say
You
it.
said it was cold.
It is cold over here. It's only 4 degrees right now. Aliens are here just to drop off new and take away the dead Bigfoot. You might be right. You never know. I've actually wondered that myself. For some reason, the 60s and 70s were a big primary time for cryptid reports. Johnny said it, not me. I mean, I mean, it's legal now here in Michigan, but yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, I don't know.
For those people who do that stuff, I'll leave it to them. You know,
right?
I don't do none of that kind of stuff, so I don't know. So, but yeah. I sometimes feel like with the 60s, 70s, like maybe at that time period or close to it, like us humans started. You know, there's been more of us over the years. You know, millions and millions and billions of us. And it's like maybe they just started seeing us as like something dangerous. Like, oh no, let's stay away from the humans. And so we'll go into hiding even more. You know?
Yeah, I wonder if it's maybe because those 2 decades were really cool decades. I mean, I was born in the 70s, but 60s, 70s, and 80s were probably the best decades ever. And had good music, good food, good people, and I mean, you just had fun in those decades. Sorry, I was born in the late 70s, so I really don't know what the 60s are, but from what it looks like, it was fun. There was a lot of parties. That's true, too. There was a lot of working and hunting outside. Like, people were actually, like, doing things outside, not on computers, not on social media all day long.
Good point.
That is very... I mean, we might see more of those things because we're outside a lot more. I mean, those were the times. But then, too, you know, like, I mean, the 50s, you had, I mean, moms and children pretty much stayed home, you know, that fun stuff. But I don't know. You might be right. We were outside more during those decades.
And nowadays, people are just a lot of people are stressed out and worrying about work and inflation and gas prices and war and so many terrible things in this time period.
Well, we had war in those times. We had all that stuff in those times too. So, I mean, every decade has its problems. I mean, I don't think that's ever going to go away. But I think Johnny might be right. We're all outside more. I mean, you might see things more. I think things were a little slower then too. I mean, the world wasn't as fast as it is now.
And I guess that's what I was trying to say. Like, you know, compared to what the mid 90s, early 90s, 80s, 70s, things aren't as crazy as they used to be. You know, it just seems like, you know, there's no words like national security and stuff like that, you know, and it's like, you know, you can't go to an airport security without having to take off your shoes and your belts and or stuff like that. You know, things were a lot more lenient back then. You know, here it just seems like it's almost, you know, it's really tough more this time period than it was back then.
Do you think, you know, when people saw those things in those decades, it was more, I mean, obviously more being outside, but might have been more believable than it is today? And that's why there's reports of just them being there, because you don't really hear about Mothman. I mean, somebody coming up with a story about Mothman nowadays. I mean, everything I tried to find on the internet, it was the same time frame.
The 60s, late early 70s.
Nothing recent. Nothing recent.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's because like I just like what we were talking about earlier, how back, you know, 10, 15, 20 years ago, you mentioned ghost or Bigfoot or stuff like that. You were like, Oh,
Hmm.
you're one of those people? You believe in that stuff?
Yeah,
You know,
you would have been sent to a sane asylum sometimes back then too.
you know, and I feel like with that kind of mentality, like you might hear somebody say, "Oh, I saw Bigfoot, I saw a ghost," and 8 times out of 10, somebody's gonna hear it and be like, "Oh, hey, you saw this," but those two people, they might hear it and they be like, "Oh, okay, so,
Well, that's
not
what
so
I'm
much
saying.
like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's how technically rumors start, but it could have been a rumor about one person saw this, and then kind of like that. I think of like that game Telephone when we played as a kid. You say something, somebody else said something, and it goes from there and there, and the story changes. Um, you're right, Johnny, about being known in that certain area, but I think that's because we didn't have the technology we have today. So you only heard about it in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. You only heard it in so certain areas because we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have computers at our disposal. I mean, in the 80s, we had you didn't have laptops, you didn't have tablets. We had the big box that had the big, I don't know what you called it, the thing on the back of the monitor, and it was kind of like keyboarding. Typewriters went away, and you keyboard on your Apple Mac, whatever it is called. I don't even remember anymore. It's so long ago. But we didn't have social media. We didn't have technology at our disposal. Shoot, in the early 90s, we had pagers, and that was the only way we communicated.
yep,
Do
I remember those.
you remember
But
those? I had a green one. Yeah, that's true. I mean, the early 2000s were also somewhat of a big time of Bigfoot sightings because that's when everybody was eating Jack Link beef jerkies. So it's the beef jerky there's something in the beef jerky that's making people see Bigfoot. Got it. Yeah, I like those commercials. Those are funny commercials. Well,
but
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, but that's folklore. I mean, if you're going to have the locals tell you a story, that's folklore unless you see it with your own eyes, which, I mean, I guess that's how things start too, is one person has to see it. I don't know. I mean, the Native Americans had all their folklore, and we believe them, right? For the most part.
hmm but that reminds me of like what's that phenomenon, Slender Man?
Yeah.
How at first, like, it was just like a bedtime story, hey, chill out or Slender Man's gonna get you. But now it seems like people are actually capturing Slender Man on film, video recording, pictures, stuff like that. So that, I mean, and that's, how people talk about that. It's like, are we as people manifesting these things into real life?
That's
You
a good
know,
question. I mean, I've even asked that about spirits. Are we manifesting that energy that it shows up on camera? I mean, I know I've done, it's funny, but, I think of, um, I'll think of a movie that I haven't seen in a long time, and literally a week later, it's on one of the networks that I have on my TV, and I'm like, "Oh, that's funny,"
yeah,
But it's like, did I do that because I've been wanting to see this movie that I manifested it, and now it's on? I mean, because literally about a month ago, I seen a TikTok about Teen Wolf, or not Teen Wolf, Teen Witch, which is a movie in the '80s, and sure as shit, it was on uh Hulu. And I was like, okay. That I mean, you got to wonder, do we manifest things? If so many people hear the story, are they manifesting the visual of it?
yeah.
I thought there wasn't a show after this. Or no, that's not. Oh, Nick, I forgot Things. Yes, you're on Things. I was thinking, Are You Media? Are You Media? There's no show. On Things, there's a show. So, yep. That's the other thing, you know. I mean, again, it's storytelling. So you tell a story and then people start, oh yeah, I seen that, you know. We just never know until Mothman is actually captured. I'm not. Going to be a skeptical. You know, I'm going to be a skeptic, and that's the same as Bigfoot until one is actually captured. I mean, last week I talked about Bigfoot on my show, and he's like, "Would you shoot a Bigfoot?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, I would." I'd probably do it with Mothman too, just because I'd be like catch a net or something. I wouldn't just
But
let him try to get away.
like there are those people that have said the exact same thing. I would shoot a Bigfoot if I saw it right here, right now. But then they go to like shoot it and look at it, and it just seemed like so human to them. Like they thought like, oh, looks like I'm gonna murder, a person, and then they put their gun down or stuff like
Oh,
that.
Harry, it's Harry. Sorry.
And yeah, and I mean we could be saying this now, but until it actually happens to us,
Right.
until we get into that position of just like how they say, whenever you see like an investigation going on TV and something crazy happens, and some people might say, oh, I would have done this, but if you're in that person was in that position, they would have done the
You
exact same
are.
thing and
You
run
are
away
correct
or
on that.
jump out the window or
Yep. I mean, I've never been scared yet. I mean, well, not totally scared. I did jump, but not really get scared. Um, Rosie says shadow people just stump her still. I've seen shadow people, but I've seen them in my other house, so they don't really like scare me too much because I think I'm used to them. Um, Especially because I thought it was my ex husband. I did. I saw it go from my bathroom to my bedroom, and he was in the kitchen. So I don't think it was my father-in-law, but there are so many theories. You're right, Rosie.
yeah.
We'll
And
just never know the actual truth. You know,
for hopefully for now, maybe
for
later
now,
on,
for now, exactly for
because
now.
I always find that so intriguing how they have those videos of like you see like the black dark shadow person like looking around a doorway or something, and like it seems like once you focus in, like you see it yourself, like it knows you see it, that you spot it, and then it like ducks away and
Right.
takes off. That's just so intriguing to me. Like it, like you see it, and it sees you and it notices you and it
Again,
like it's
it's another
intelligent.
form of energy. I mean, we're all energy.
I've thought of it like that, but then again, I've also thought of that maybe it's not so much like humans, but like another life form that's looks like that, or maybe it's people like from way in the future, and they're able to have some kind of suit that makes them look all dark,
Right.
and they're here in this time period investigating us,
I mean,
and
I've
maybe
always
like
asked that too. I'm like, I mean, when we get the EVPs and the AV, all that stuff, when we're getting, communication, how do we know? And I've asked, how do we know we're not talking to someone on a parallel universe? And
exactly.
they're real and we're real, but we think they're spirits and they think we're spirits, but we're talking, and the reason why we only get one or two word sentences is because there's such a gap in time that you only capture a few words at a time. Does that make
Hmm.
sense? So
Totally, and that's a great theory that you put out there like that. So
yeah. All right, we have 1 minute left. I want to say thank you for joining us. It was very interesting. Thank you, everybody, for commenting. Appreciate it. And next week, I have, let's see, next week is St. Patty's Day, so wear your green. And we have Kenny W. Irish, and he's an author, and we're going to continue talking about different types of cryptids with him. So we will see you guys here next week at 8:00. Enjoy the network things. They have another show on there. I think the Petri Dish. And there's no show tonight on RU Media after me. So you guys enjoy your evening. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you for watching, everybody.
Thank you.